10 games in MLB action tonight on a Thursday. Half of those games going early, so hopefully you're joining us live. We're going to be talking Colorado, Washington, Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh, Houston, Baltimore, and we got best bets coming your way in Mets, Padres, and the Phillies and the Bravos. I'm Dan Alexander, and joining me, two of the best in the biz. Little Thursday action with Tokyo Brandon and Steve Merril. The chat has been asking, where the heck is Steve? Well, he is back. 2 R's and 1 L. And of course, TB looking, styling and profiling, man. And I'm guessing you're dressed up looking so good because it's Patrick Corbin Day. Yes, we all get to celebrate, so we got to wear our Sunday best. We're going to start off there, Rockies and Nats. 105 start in this one, so 11 Eastern is when we go live here. While you're hanging out, hit that like button, hop below in the comments. Let us know what games you'd like to hear about and what you're looking to bet on, and make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. But yes, happy Patrick Corbin Day to you and to you and to you. It didn't work out actually all that well in the last start in fading Pat Corbin, but as we roll in here today, he'll be playing off against the Rockies. So maybe a chance for Corbin to flex his muscle again. What say you, Tokyo Brandon, on this game?
Yeah, he beat your Phillies. What's up with that, Dan?
Why do you have to bring that up? Why do you? We didn't have to mention what team he beat, TB. We could have just said he recorded a win and left it at that. But yes, he did beat my Phillies.
So in what universe is Patrick Corbin supposed to be a -120 favorite? Are you kidding me? Who's going to back Patrick? I'm sorry, but he's the worst pitcher in Major League Baseball. He's got to be at least the bottom 3. And in no universe should he be favored in any circumstance or situation. So I'm going to break this game down real quick. It's not really a confidence play telling you to play this, but it's kind of a public service announcement to save you some money to not bet the Nationals. So Colorado Rockies get a bad rap because they're an awful team. And yes, they are awful, but you know, baseball teams are very trendy. And, you know, a week ago, a team that was really hot could be really cold right now. So if you compare these two teams right now, the Rockies are actually hitting a little bit better than the Nationals. Both bullpens are trash. The Rockies is a little bit more trash than the Nationals. And then pitching, Cal Quantrill for the Rockies and Patrick Corbin for the Nationals. So I've said this before, but I take my pitcher rankings and I have about 300 starting pitchers and I curve them to 30 so I can compare them apples to apples with the bullpen and the hitting of 30 teams. And I have Cal Quantrill on that curve ranked 17 out of 30. So he's a little bit below average, but I have Patrick Corbin ranked 27 out of 30. So he's really bad. Basically, that's a long version of saying, you know, the Nationals might win the game, but you should not bet Patrick Corbin at -20 or -110 or minus anything. Patrick Corbin in no circumstance should be minus anything. I have the Rockies overall ranked 20 out of 30, and I have the Nats ranked 22 out of 30. So basically, I give the Rockies a slight edge. Cal Quantrill has horrible numbers against these batters, so the Nationals will score today for sure, but the Rockies will also score because Patrick Corbin is basically a stiff on the mound. So that's my public service announcement to save you some money. Do not back the Nationals today, even though they're favored and even though they might be a better team overall. Recent trends, the Rockies are a little bit better. I'm not betting this game and I'm not betting the Rockies, but I wanted to pick this game just to save you a little bit of money. I believe the last show I did, I saved you a little money telling you not to bet a certain team that was highly favored and they lost the game. I forgot what the teams were. Sorry about that. But I am saving you money. I'm not just making you money, but hey, saving you money in a way is making you money. So that's my advice for this game.
Wow, Tokyo Brandon, man of the people. Not looking to give anybody a winner, but keep them off a potential loser. The folks want the damn picks, TB. No, I'm just messing with you. You do have a best bet coming up here
I
in
do.
just a few moments. We're going to be talking Mets and Padres. Shout out to the chat, Seth S. Very happy that Wager Talk is still kicking here 10 years later. You've been around longer and my first wife. Well, I don't know if that's congratulations in order or not, Seth, but we appreciate it. And we got a great
Definitely
special for this.
congratulations. You need to get
Yes,
rid of her.
congratulations indeed. But we have a great deal going. Typically, when we do these fill your cart specials, it's a 1-day shot because, I mean, the savings are just unreal. We're going to extend it for 4 days. So 10th anniversary, if you use the code 10-year, anything you put in your cart, 30 days off. Whether you're getting a 2% play for just $9, you're getting 30 days, you're getting a year all access. Put it all in your cart. At the end of the day, use code 10-year and you chop 30% off that. So appreciate the love. Yes, 10 years, and here's to 10 more as well. While you're hanging out, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and you'll help guarantee that we'll be rocking with you for another decade here. Steve, let's get back to the diamond here. And from talking about Patrick Corbin and a pitcher that you definitely don't want to bet on unless he's playing against my Phillies, let's talk about Paul Skeens and the Pirates as they're taking on the Reds. Interestingly enough, the slam dunk, sure thing, Paul Skeens, rookie of the year ticket, which was as high as like minus 2,500. I think even at some books it was double that. He's now no longer the favorite for the NL Rookie of the Year. He got Jackson Merril as the favorite. So Paul Skeens probably looking to have some quality outings and get back in that conversation as far as the favorite is concerned. How do you see this game though shaking out, Steve? And welcome back, brother.
Yeah, I was going to be here yesterday, but I swapped with Adam Trigger because I wanted to talk about Paul Skeens Day. So let's look at this Reds-Pirates game here and find some free information, some free plays for you here on Thursday night. This game goes at 6:40 Eastern, and how can we possibly back the Pittsburgh Pirates, one of the worst teams in baseball? They've been nice. Oh, wait a second. Paul Skeens is on the mound. We're safe to back them, and I do think this price is pretty cheap considering minus $1.35 for maybe the best pitcher in baseball right now. Of course, the safer play is probably the first 5-inning line, but then again, the odds makers are onto that minus 165, minus 170. I do lean Pittsburgh in this game, but I think the best play is actually the total because I think a lot of it also going to look pretty good for Cincinnati here. In fact, my pitcher projection ratings look for both starters to have a good outing. 2.3, 3.4 ERA for Cincinnati. And then Skeens obviously has been fantastic. I project him to give up less than 2 runs. With a 2.7 ERA and probably about 6 innings. They've not let him go over 6 innings for several games now. Pushed his start back to today, so he's on the 5 days of rest like he's been doing. They're being very careful with him. And one of the reasons that Skeens is no longer favored to win Rookie of the Year is because they might shut him down. And I think they probably should. This is a guy who they've pulled out of 2 games this year, 6th and 7th inning twice now when he's had a no-hitter going. So why would you possibly pitch him into September if you're worried about his pitch count? When you're out of contention. So this might be one of the last times for us to back the Pirates with Skeens, but I think the better play is under 7.5. You could also look at the first 5 inning under 4 with 2 good starters on the mound. I would actually think that would be not a bad way to attack this. The first 5 innings under 4, full game under 7.5. But Skeens is the real deal. And normally I'd be rooting for Jackson Merril to win NL Rookie of the Year. He has minus money, but then I realized he spells it with 2 L's. He almost got it right. But it's 2 L's, not 2 R's, 1 L, like at Steve Merril on Twitter and X. And don't forget to comment below here on the shows and the solo videos if you're liking this free content because NFL Fade the Public, college football top 25 right around the corner. So yet another reason to hit subscribe and hit the bell for instant alerts when you give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget also the 4-day 10th anniversary special. 10th anniversary, we celebrate for 4 days and nights all the way through Sunday, but you can load your cart right now and get substantial savings. Full details along with free plays every day on my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. And I buried the lead, by the way. 9-1 my last 10 baseball plays. The only loss is when Dan Alexander's Phillies blew a 2-0 lead in the top of the 9th last Friday and won 3-2 when I was laying the run and a half. Otherwise, I'd be a perfect 10-0. So you know it's going well when you're upset with a 9-1 run. but I try to make it 10-1 with a strong baseball best bet tonight for Thursday. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com.
Man, my Phillies just keep getting these strays. Tokyo Brandon right at the top. Steve saying, I got a great run going, but Dan's Phillies had to screw it up. Now you guys know what it's like being a Philadelphia fan. When you just think that they aren't going to break your heart, that's what they do for you, Steve. So yeah,
Tokyo
welcome
misspoke, by the way. The Phillies beat Corbin last Friday, but Corbin beat me. So actually, Corbin didn't beat me. It was 2-0 in the ninth. I beat Corbin. Unfortunately, I had the full game run line. Otherwise, we would have been good. But yeah, it's going good when you're upset about a 9-1 run, and I'm upset about it.
Well, that's what we do. We're upset anytime that we lose. That's for damn sure. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to those viewing us on your social channels. Mainly, I want to give a shout out to our friends over on TikTok. Taylor Cash getting those likes up. We appreciate you. And Salvatore Letza. He's saying, hey, I love that deal that you guys rocking, but why, if it's the 10th anniversary, why isn't it a 10-day deal? It's a good question. I did explain, hey, I just read the copy here for you. So that's something. Shoot a message to our friends at Front Office in Detroit. They do a terrific job. But Salvatore, looking to get some extra savings. We appreciate you, and thanks for the follow. Be like Salvatore. Follow the Wager Talk social channels. That's for sure. All right, guys. Houston Astros and Baltimore Orioles. We talked about the bad Corbin. Now we can talk about the good Corbin. Corbin Burns. However, TB, it wasn't the good Corbin Burns in his last outing. He's kind of looking for a little bit of redemption, as is this Orioles team, as they're opening up a 4-game set here against Houston. How do you see game 1 here shaking out? Arrighetti is going to be opposing Burns there on the mound. Anything for you here out of the gate in this 4-game set?
Yeah, the books tend to really like some pitchers and really hate other pitchers. And when that happens, they kind of overcompensate. So yeah, Corbin Burns, I'm a big Corbin Burns fan, but the books favor him way too much. They give him a little bit too much credit. And starting pitchers overall get, I think, a little too much credit because really they only pitch half the game. So if you don't take the bullpen into consideration and just base your numbers on the starting pitching, you tend to get carried away, which I think the books do sometimes. I have Corbin Burns on my curve ranked 12 out of 30. And I have Armageddon. I have him ranked 16 out of 30. So yes, Corbin Burns is an advantage for the Baltimore Orioles, but he's not as much of an advantage as one might think. I have both of these teams hitting almost dead even, and I have both of the bullpens almost dead even. So frankly, I have this game capped as a dead even heat. So if you get a really good line, if you can get a 1.5 for the underdog here, it might be a good play because really I have these teams neck and neck, and I have the batting a little bit better than the pitching actually. So if the under is a crazy 7 or something like that, maybe an over might be a decent play. But that's how I see it. I see them pretty neck and neck. So if you get any runs advantages or anything like that, I would probably take a 1.5 in this one.
Looking towards the run and the half, potentially for our man Tokyo. Brandon, WT.buzz/TB is where you can find him. Steve, any thoughts for you in that one? If not, let's swing it to another early game here. Top of the card, actually, the Guardians and the Yankees, because we got some folks here checking in on TikTok. Taylor Cash asking Gavin Williams looking under the strikeouts, the Cleveland starting pitcher. And his strong 5.02 ERA. He's going against Garrett Cole. And then we also, we had, who was it? Young Iverson checking in. Go Allen Iverson, of course. He was asking about Ozuna going yard, obviously, in that game we talked about earlier. Home run props, they can be fun. They're a bit needle in the haystacky, but there's some nice plus money, and it's fun calling your shot. So best of luck if you do ride with that one. But Steve, any thoughts on that previous one, or you want to hit on this Yankees and Guardians one for the chat?
Well, they're both great matchups. I mean, obviously, playoff previews in both of them. Astros are pulling ahead finally in the West like we thought they would after the slow start. The Orioles are below 500 the last 30 games, I think. So it will be interesting to see if the Orioles kind of have done what your Phillies did. Had that little bit of a lull after a monster season. Now they're starting to heat up maybe as they head into prime time. This is a very interesting matchup, though. Guardians, Yankees are definitely two of the best teams in the American League. The Guardians, surprisingly, have flirted with the best record ball over the past couple of weeks at times, even to Brian Leonard's chagrin. Yesterday, I used a free play at WagerTalk.com on the Yankees -1.5 run line at plus money and did cash that. So I did fade them yesterday as a free play, and it was an easy 8-1 winner. That snapped the 3-game losing streak for New York. Overall, they're just 4-3 their last 7. But I mentioned how Cleveland had the best record in baseball about a week ago. They are starting to cool off. They've lost 4 of their last 5. They're just 14-16 their last 30. So even though they had the best record a couple weeks ago, they're still below 500 over the past month. And I think Cleveland maybe is starting to regress like we've been expecting all season. So I like the Yankees last night on that -1.5 run line for a free play. Not using this game tonight. It's another, or this afternoon rather. It's another game that would be just a bit outside for making the cut. But once again, I'd look Yankees, and at -175, Cole's been a little suspect at time. I think you're better off getting it down to -1.5 and plus money again. So it worked last night. Don't like it quite as much this afternoon. These getaway games can be a bit dicey at times as well. But it would be Yankees or pass for me if you're playing this daytime game at 1 Eastern.
Yeah, and as far as Gavin Williams is concerned, you're looking at that under 5 Ks. It really, I think it's correlated, and Tokyo Brandon, feel free to step in on this one as well, because I know that you love doing those pitcher props. It's obviously correlated with how deep you think Gavin Williams ends up going against this Yankees lineup. Do they hit around him? Are they able to get to him early? Because if you just look at his recent starts, you've looked at 4 innings pitch, 6 innings pitch, 4, 5, 6, 3 2/3, 5, 5, 4. So really, I would almost think the more sure thing, and I hate to say sure thing, but I think the better bet might be looking towards his total outs and looking towards that under if you think he's not going to be going as deep. Eric D kind of sees it the same way. Any thoughts for you, Gavin Williams props? You can help out the folks here.
Yeah, I project Gavin Williams to get 5 strikeouts in this game. I don't know if his prop is 5.5
It's right
or
on the
4.5.
number.
It's 5, or is it 5.5?
Well, I think they're looking at probably an alt line. I'll grab the number for you, TB, while you look at yours.
I see. No, that's cool. Yeah. Let's see. The New York Yankees basically strike out 8 times per game, which is pretty 8 times per 9 innings, which is pretty much on line with other major league teams. Gavin Williams is striking out almost 11 guys per 9. So exactly like you said, it depends on how deep he goes. I project 5 or even more. But if you look at last month, he was striking out 8 and 9 guys per start, and that was only in 5 or 6 innings. So you got to think the Yankees had never seen him before. He'll probably last 5 innings. I would, if anything, I would bet an over on his strikeout prop because he's a strikeout guy.
All right.
He's been destroyed. I mean, he got destroyed for 5 earned runs, and he still struck out 5 guys against Milwaukee in 4 innings. So yeah, I think the over for his strikeout prop would be a good bet there.
Yeah, and shout out to Eric D pointing out on some of those like daily fantasy sites is where you're seeing the 5 flat. You'll see those a lot on like those like prize pick entries or underdog where, you know, they do have flat numbers that have a lot more push potential. You're always going to be seeing them typically with the hook when you're looking at the big boys. Gavin Williams, 5.5 is the number, the over +130, the under -175. And if you're looking at the outs recorded, you can shop around because there's 16.5s out there that are pretty heavily juiced. They're probably going to be gone because 15.5, the under, you're still looking at -205. So I would probably start looking elsewhere when you're talking about that kind of juice that you got to play on a player prop. Plenty of other options out there for you because betting 205s, sure, you know, maybe make it a parlay piece, but you know, it's just not the way that I typically bet, whether it's sides, whether it's totals. When you start getting around, you know, north of 160, unless it really makes sense and it's a bad line, that's where I at least start jumping out to kind of protect my bankroll. a little bit. Coming up here, we got best bets. We're going to talk the Mets against the Padres. We got a player prop coming your way in that one from Tokyo Brandon. And don't worry, folks, we will talk about my Philadelphia Phillies as they're taking on the Bravos in the rubber match. But let's talk one more late game here. I'm not seeing any starting pitchers in this one, so maybe it's just one that we gloss over, Steve. But any before we see who's named, any just, I guess, overview that you could have on this Angels and Blue Jays matchup this evening going at 7:07?
Well, the Blue Jays, everyone thought should be massive sellers before the trade deadline, and they didn't really sell off nearly as much as expected. And they've played fairly hard since. In fact, over the past month, they're a 500 baseball team. They've gone 15-15 basically since the deadline. So they still play hard. The Angels, really bad team for most of the season, got a little bit of a spark about a month ago, but they've come back down to earth as well. They've lost 7 of their last 9 games. 2 mediocre teams kind of playing out the season here. I did have Toronto the other night as a play, though, so I think they're a playable team on Tuesday. A nice 10-3 winner against Cincinnati. They lost each game on the other side of it, so I kind of timed that perfectly. They remain at home here. LA travels after Kansas City. Not a game I'll be involved with, and as you said, Dan, no pitcher is known for either team, which makes it very difficult for me to get involved. But just as far as current form, I'd probably lean Blue Jays, but I think $1.45 favorite. That's kind of why it's priced that way, and we'll have to wait to see who the starters are.
Gotcha. Yeah, and you know, again, that's what we're not going to be throwing out plays here on games that you're not sure. Just wanted to get some overview there for the folks on a later game. We'll hit one more before best bets. Kyle Musafin is asking about the Brewers who fumbled big time in the bottom of the ninth. Kind of what they've done to me all year when I've tried backing them. Luckily, I wasn't a victim of it last night, but Kyle asking, you think they can win today? It's Brewers, it's Cardinals, Peralta, and looks like Mikolas going to be going on the other side. You got the road favorite here for the Brewers. Is that the way your money would be, Tokyo Brandon? Any thoughts in this one?
Yeah, I got burned yesterday. I had a 2% on the Brewers, and this is the third game I've lost with a 2-0 lead in the ninth inning in the last week. So it's kind of annoying me. But the Brewers have a top 3 bullpen, and they're playing really well right now. So the Cardinals bullpen, I have them ranked 27 out of 30 in current form. So Brewers have the better pitcher, and they definitely have the better hitters, but the Brewers have been a little too inconsistent for me. So I'm not making this a client play, but if anyone's going to win this game, it's probably going to be the Brewers. I always like a team with the better bullpen and the better starter. I mean, pretty hard to go wrong when you have both of those tightly in your pocket. So yeah, Brewers are nothing for me on this, but that's not a client play for me.
Tokyo Brandon, you can find him on your social channels at Tokyo_Brandon. Give him a shout out. Taylor over on TikTok, loving the style, saying first time seeing Tokyo Brandon on here. The man is chill. He is indeed chill. Steve, let's talk some best bets though here for the folks. Phillies and Bravos is the game that you have slated in. Before you give us the thoughts on the rubber match in this one, a split series that really, kind of atypical, hasn't been about the offense when these two teams have faced off. So how do you see this one shaking out? But before you break that down, just remind the folks of this unreal deal that we have going on. 10th anniversary, confetti, sparklers, 10-year is the code that can save them a boatload of money.
Yeah, happy 10th anniversary, WagerTalk.com. And we're going to celebrate for the next 4 days and nights with promo code 10-year. You get instant 25% off, fill your cart special, and you have all weekend to do it. So go in often, just like voting in a couple months, early and often, and fill that cart and get 25% off, or actually 30% off. My bad, 30% off. It's normally 25. It's 30% off because this is a special occasion. Once again, 10-year is the code to use. Let's look at a free play for you on a national TV game tonight on Thursday, Major League Baseball, Phillies and Braves. This is on Fox National TV at 7 o'clock Eastern, so most of the country will be getting this. I believe the Orioles and Astros are the other games, so 2 really good games on Fox tonight, and this is one of them. And on the surface, these are 2 teams that are contenders. We felt that way all season long. The Phillies have pretty much had a 7-game lead on the Braves for a while now, and that's because both teams have been playing mediocre baseball here down the stretch. In fact, you look at the last 30 games, the Phillies are still just 12-18. Braves are just 13 and 17. So even though these are two playoff contenders, they're not really playing that way right now. So I think the safer option here is the total. And one of the reasons they're struggling is because the offenses have been struggling to score at times. So I like under the total in this one between the Braves and Phillies tonight at 7 Eastern. And we get a good number. 8 opened 8.5. Some of the sharp books went down to 8. It's now juiced 8 under 15, under 20. I even see a leading indicator book at minus 25. So I do think the sharp money, the correct money, is on the under 8 in this Phillies Braves game. And I would agree with it. Both pitchers in decent current form overall. Sanchez 3.5 ERA, and Schwellenbach actually a 4.0 ERA on the season, but he's been really good going back to early July. His last 7 starts at 2.9 ERA. Struggled a bit in his last outing against Anaheim, giving up 3 runs in just 5 innings. So I do think this is a little bit of a bounce back spot for him at home. So I like the setup here. And then Sanchez was just fantastic in his last outing. A rare 9-inning complete game. Only against my Washington Nationals could somebody get 9 innings nowadays, and he did it well. 2 hits, 1 earned run. Maybe a little bit of a regression, but I don't think so because he had a terrible start before that at Arizona in a hitter-friendly park when he gave up 7 runs in 4 innings. So he had the bounce back as expected against the Nats. I think that momentum continues here. Good outing for both pitchers, decent bullpens, mediocre offenses. In fact, despite winning 3 of their last 4 games, have scored 3 runs or less in 3 of those 4 games. And the Braves overall have scored 3 runs or less now in 5 of their last 6 games. Philly, meanwhile, has scored 3 and 1 so far in this series in Atlanta, and it finishes up tonight. Look for under 8 runs between the Braves and Phillies at 7 Eastern on Fox National TV. And oh, by the way, if you want my strong best bet tonight, this is a free opinion only. My strong best bet's available for clients right now at WagerTalk.com. You might want to pay attention. I am red hot in baseball. I'm 9 and 1 my last 10 over the past week. The only loss, by the way, was a blown 2-0 lead in the top of the 9th. Otherwise, we'd be 10 and 0. We are red hot in baseball. And if you look at the rankings right now at WagerTalk.com, you can see it. 8 and 1, as I said, the last 7 days, up 26 units. And number 1 the last 30 days in baseball, 26 and 14, up 42.5 units. Let's get to that 10 and 1 run tonight with a strong best bet for Thursday Night Baseball. And oh yeah, a bonus free play on the nighttime card as well on my page right now. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/sm. Like, subscribe, and comment below. I read all the comments here on Wager Talk TV.
2 R's, 1 L, been truer than ever since you only have 1 L in your last 10 plays. 9 and 1 run for the man. Check him out, and it's a great way to try him out with that code 10year. Over in the chat on TikTok, bad news, young Iverson, that Steve Merril is looking towards some unders. Maybe all of the runs in this game can just be solo home runs, because I think our man young Iverson is looking to bet every player to go yard in this game. He said Kyle or Bryce going yard. You can actually bet combos now as far as these home run props are concerned. So like plus 195 for Kyle Schwarber or Bryce Harper to go yard if you want to call your shot there. Another one that he loved was Ozuna. You can look at Ozuna and Kyle Schwarber, one or the other to hit a home run, plus 175. A little less juice, but you get 2 players for the squeeze there. So best of luck to you if you're betting those home run props. It's a prop that I know Tokyo Brandon is not a fan of. And Tokyo Brandon's best bet is going to tie into that. Brandon, I mean, year over year, you're one of the best cappers, if not the best capper over at Wager Talk when you're talking about long-term success. You got a 4%er rocking tonight that people can throw in their cart and grab that. They can grab all access with you. So tell folks about what you have locked and loaded, and let us know what player prop you're looking to bet in the Mets and Padres this evening, TB.
Thank you, Dano. Yes, I do have a 4% play tonight. It's a money line play. You can grab that at my page there at wagertalk.buzz/TB. I'm number 1 in MLB profit in 2024, and I'm the number 1 all sports profit capper in 2024. Actually, I'm the number 1 all sports profit capper 3 of the last 4 years since I joined Wager Talk. So I would be a pretty good guy to back here with that Wager Talk 10-year anniversary special. Major League Baseball is my forte, and I do have some Mexican baseball, Japanese, and Korean baseball as well. I used to be a Major League Baseball scout here in Japan, scouting Japanese baseball for a Major League Baseball team. So I do use those same systems to do my plays, and so far in the last 4 years, I've been number one at WagerTalk 3 of those 4 years. Don't ask about 2023. Anyways, let me tell you one thing about home run props. They're sucker bets, and I'll tell you why. Take the best batter in baseball, or maybe the second best batter, depending on whether you're a Judge or Ohtani guy. Let's take Shohei Ohtani, because no one will argue that he's a great batter. He hits a home run about one time every 17 at bats. So if you break that down, it comes to about once every 3.5 to 4 games, he'll hit a home run. So what that means is for Shohei Ohtani to get fair odds to make money over the long term, you would have to get 350 to plus 400 odds on Shohei Ohtani, not Ozuna. So we're talking cream of the crop batters. If you're not getting plus 400, then you're losing money betting home run props. If you're taking second tier batters like Bryce Harper, Ozuna, someone like that, you should be getting about plus 500 to plus 600. So anything less than that, you're losing your money over the long term. If you want to bet, have a beer with your friend and bet home run props, that's great. But if you're going to do this professionally and try to make money in the long term, home run bets are sucker bets. So that's my, I'll get off my pulpit now, and we'll talk about my best bet for the show is in the Padres game. I like this game. It's a player prop, and it's a player prop for Manny Machado. So this is a hits, runs, RBIs prop. And I like Manny Machado to go over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. So here's another piece of advice for long-term betting. Hits, runs, RBIs are more profitable than total bases. And the reason is because each batter in a game, if he's in the top of the lineup, he's probably going to get 4 to 5 at bats in that game, assuming it's not extra innings. But each batter in the top 3 to 4 to 5 slot are probably going to get 4 to 5 at bats. With your total bases, if your batter gets a walk, that does not count for a total base. The only way a batter can get a total base is if he gets a hit. So the problem with that is hits, runs, RBIs is more advantageous, because if your batter walks, he can still score a run, which counts for your prop. So hits, runs, RBIs over the long term will be more profitable. And Manny Machado has a great history against Severino. How good? Well, he's 4 for 17, which doesn't sound that great, but he's got 3 home runs. So 4 of his hits were home runs. And Manny Machado is just a great batter. He sees the ball well. He makes great contact, not only against Severino, but as I said earlier, starting pitchers are only half the game. You got to look at the bullpen, and the Mets bullpen is just awful right now. I have them ranked 29 out of 30 in current form, performing just awful. Manny Machado, after he gets his 2 at-bats against Severino, he should get 2 or 3 more at-bats against this horrid bullpen. And with hits, runs, RBIs, if you hit a home run, your prop cashes with 1 swing of the bat. That's 1 hit and 1 run scored. You can get a double, which is a hit. You can get knocked in, same inning. You can cash your bet. So I like Manny Machado over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs in the Padres Mets game. And again, go to my page to grab my 4% play. Hope that was not too long-winded, but I do have a nice voice and I'm looking pretty good. So that's my best bet for the show, guys.
yeah. He says not at all, Adam. Yeah, Tokyo Brandon, whether he's styling and profiling, that was his Triggs best impersonation. But I see what you're saying, and at the end of the day, the folks got Manny Machado, hits, runs, RBIs over the 1.5, the total bases, a potential way to attack it as well, or why. You're looking to bet that way as opposed to going for the total bases. So I like the breakdown there from TB. I, of course, like the style, and Eric D giving you the shout out as well. They love you over on TikTok, TB, so you got to start your own TikTok page. I'm sure it will absolutely blow up with the style that you drop over there. Winston Smith over on YouTube Shorts, looking good, feeling good. That's right. You got to look good to play good. So that's how TB attacks it. Tokyo Brandon can get away with saying looking good with no Prez around, says Hal L. And Hal L knows that it's the only way you can get anything done around here is when Prez isn't around. But Prez will be around just about 20 minutes from now. Wager Talk Today coming your way on the channel here. So make sure you're hanging out with us. You're going to get some UFC action from a man, Kyle Anthony. We got Ralph Michaels stopping by talking some college football. And, of course, you got Teddy Covers holding things down alongside the Prez over there at Wager Talk Today. So hit that subscribe button if you're checking us out on TikTok, on Instagram, on X. Follow goes a long way. Tell your friends about us. We'll be rocking here live 11 a.m. Eastern and 8 a.m. on the West Coast all the way through the regular season. So keep hanging out with us while everyone else is trying to cash in on football. It'll be quiet time as we keep cashing in on baseball right here. Big thanks to Tokyo Brandon, Manny Machado over his prop is the way that he's looking, and Steve Merril looking towards an under in the Phillies and the Bravos. That's the best bets, but get the true best bets and get 30% off of them using code 10year. You can throw both of these guys' plays in your cart and shop 30% off all of them. Big thanks to these guys. Big thanks to you in the chat. Hit that like button on the way out, and we'll see you locked and loaded for the Friday edition 24 hours from now right here on Wager Talk TV. Best of luck, everyone.